Oh, it is April 27th, 2013. I'm going to give my bees their first official spring inspection here. I went through this hive about a month ago and put some pollen patties on them. They're looking pretty good then. So we'll see how they're looking now. Found my new hive tool. I'm afraid I bought a hive tool. If you've watched any of my videos, my old whole main hive tool, I always said if I ever bought one, I'd lose my good one. We'll give it a try here. Doesn't look like they've even touched the sugar or the pollen patty. Maybe nibble a little off the edge. Here, I'll give you a close-up inside here now. As you can see, they're bringing in a bright yellow pollen. I'm not sure exactly what that is. Most likely, I would say daffodils, but they're bringing in an awful lot of it. I'll have to look that up. See just what it is they're bringing in. Dandelions are starting to bloom, but I ain't seeing them working them at all. Maybe that's what they're at. You can see there's a lot of it there. I can give them a little extra small. They ain't been worked since last fall, so 10 minutes ago this was bright sun, and now a little haze just kind of moved in, so it's cooling off a little. I might even put this back in the freezer. They're bringing in a lot of pollen, so I'm going to save that for my mini mating notes. Now, put the camera off tripod here. You can see most of them are in these 2.5 frames here. I don't know if there's any in below, but we'll find out here in a sec. Make sure you're in view there. Most of these frames in this medium are just empty frames. I give them a couple of frames of honey just to hold them off the winter. And they're packing pollen up in the honey super here. See a little bit of nectar. A little bit of pollen up in this area. I don't see any brood on this frame, which is a good thing. I'd rather have her down in the deep. Oh, look at here. There's her highness right there. Let me see if I got her in view here. Right there, that big fat. You can see the longer abdomen on her. The front half there, her head is the size of the workers, but her abdomen is twice as long. A lot of times they'll be like more one color, either darker or lighter, not banded quite so much. Sometimes they're banded. She's a nice looking queen. If I had a marking pen, I'd put a dot right in the middle of her back there. But the guys seem pretty calm. This was always a nice hive to work. Of course, this was also the hive I think I was working when I did the Hive Gone Bad video. I doubt you can see, but there are eggs. She's laying eggs in these cells here. Now they are tiny, tiny eggs. I know you ain't gonna be able to see them on the camera, but she's laying. You know she's on that frame. What's she doing on this? She's right in the middle. Always want to make sure she ain't like on the bottom of the frame and you're squishing them between some bird comb. I'm seeing some smaller larvae in here. Nothing very large. Oh, here, can you see? Try to clear them off here. If you look right here, you see this white. That's larvae. It starts out as eggs up in here, and then they gradually get bigger. So she started laying at the bottom of this frame and worked up. It's all nectar and a little bit of pollen. So far, so good. She had one of them queen catchers. I'd have snatched her and known where she was while I was working her. Yeah. I'll pull my felt paper off here. Should have done this before I started the video. Try not to tear it up. This stuff's getting expensive, so I can fold this back up and use it again next winter. Only thing I don't like about these ones, I'm going to grab my old one here. Breaking your frames open. I like the hook, or the ones without the hook better. Let's see what we got in this one. Start over here on the edge. You always want to start, I usually start with the second frame. There's always less bees on the outside than the inside. The first frame's usually pretty tight against the edge and hard to pull out. Ow. That's why they ain't touched the sugar at all. That's all honey left over from last year. So they're off to a good start this year, Eddie. Some of the honey for getting brood started. I'll show you something here with this frame. Oop, didn't even all come out. I'll try to get you. You can see in there, there's a chunk stuck to the side. The head building sideways. Show you back in frame here. This is natural foundationless frame, I should say. You take this little top bar and you break it off and you turn it sideways and staple it in, and they draw the comb out naturally without using a foundation. But this one they were building crossways, so I'm going to break that right off. Set that one aside. Take my hive tool. I need to sharpen this thing, by the way. We didn't make that very sharp. And that's actually all drone comb. It's bigger cells, but it'll go in my wax collection pile. There's some ugly comb. It's right full of honey. It's all foundation. That's why I don't like to do the foundation unless I get a lot of that. You can see I'm getting stung. I kind of pinched her with a hang. You can see that stinger right there. Let's see if I get you in frame here. The stinger right there in my finger. I don't know if you can see that pumping or not. That's beating, pumping venom in my hand. Get used to it. I actually look forward to stings. If you got arthritis, a lot of aches and pains, D-venom is marvelous at taking care of them problems. Not much on there. Little capped honey. That's why they're not putting much brood down here. It's all still capped honey from last fall. There's a lot of pollen. Okay, look, this is a good sign to see this time of year. These are all drone cells. Hopefully I'll find, okay, I got some worker brood on the next one, but you see these are larger. They're kind of like humped up more. That's the male bee. And we're the drones. I don't see any hatched yet crawling around here. But within a week these should be hatching out. Takes 24 days, I think. 18 days for a queen, 21 days for a worker, I think 21 for a drone. But I don't see any hatched drone. But they should be within a week, so. Because of its being foundation, this is all drone comb, so that's more of a, you'll use that more for honey stores. Actually, leave that right in there. One thing I'm thinking that I'm going to smush less bees with this hook. It's a narrow thing. Now, if you look at here, this is all worker. Notice it's velvety. There's another sting. I just smushed one. It's kind of a velvety covering over the waxy colored honey, capped honey, and it's flat where the drone is humped more. Here's a perfect example of the pattern they'll make. Even though this is offset, you'll have your drone, your worker brood, which is usually more in the center, and then you'll have a band of pollen here. You can see that yellow, and then over here will be honey stores around the outside. They call it the rainbow effect, where they always put the pollen next to the brood. They'll mix pollen and honey and make what they call a brood food to feed their brood. These cells are all ones that have hatched out, so these, I don't see any. A lot of times you watch, you can actually see them chewing through and emerging, I guess you could say. They hatched a couple weeks ago. Day 3 they hatch from an egg to a larvae, but they emerge from the cells. They actually go through a metamorphosis like a butterfly. They make a cocoon in themselves, metamorphosize from a larvae to the bee itself. Another pretty good pattern of brood. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to go through another frame. Actually, I can see there's nothing on the rest of these. I'm going to get these all back together. You always want to try to get your frames just to order they were, with all your brood together. These frames back in. I'm going to do I should wait a little while, but I think it's a good time. They're bringing in a lot of pollen. Usually I'll wait till they're working the dandelions, and we're just seeing dandelions the last couple of days. About a week here, but they're not working it yet because they're working pussy willows and the daffodils, and that might be forsythia pollen I'm seeing coming in. I know the neighbors a couple houses up have a forsythia bush. They like to work that this time of year. This one off the side. Pull a couple just to see. They probably don't have much anything down here, but maybe some honey left over. One thing when you get stung, you'll leave a pheromone scent there to tell the other bees where to come attack the same area. You want to give that a little smoke when you do get stung to cover up that scent. Covers up their alarms pheromone. And just I thought, just some honey. Might be pollen store here, but not much. Looks like a lot of empty frames. They would have started out down here. There's some crystallized honey that they didn't get to last year. Some old last year's pollen. They'll clean that up. Now that they got fresh pollen coming in, they'll clean all that old pollen out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reverse this hive. Got one up under my sleeve. They didn't like that. Come on, get up. I don't see nothing down below. So I'm going to put the queen and them frames of brood down on the bottom here. Put this one above it. And that way she can work up, because you always want to work up. Yes. Well, should have removed my mouse guard here before I got that. It's still stapled. Right up on the side. Now, another job you want to do in the spring is cleaning your bottom board. I'm going to suspect because I had this mouse guard on, they didn't do much of this. They've been using the top entrance more, not really down at the bottom. You want to clean all this off. You got a solid board, scrape it off. Take this away. Clean it all up. All your wax cappings are all on there. If you watch my getting started beekeeping video, I had a solid bottom board. This is a screen bottom board that I have made. We're going to take this medium, put back on here. I'm going to find that frame with the queen, and I'm going to chase her down into the bottom here. There she is right there. Now, I took my eyes off for a second, I lost her. We're on the other side. Queens don't like the lights, and when you pull them out like this, they'll have a tendency to run. Take my eyes off for a second, she's gone. Where'd she go? Maybe she, oh, there she is right there. I'll try to focus her down in the bottom one there. I think I got her in there. I don't want to knock all these bees off because they do have brood on here. I'm going to put this box back on the top. My mentor would say to put a medium on the bottom and make it darker further down to the bottom if you're deep. I'm kind of short on equipment. She must have went in. We're going to put this one back in that medium. Go back on top here. When that brood hatches out, it'll all be there for them to move. Use for honey stores.